here goes the start. That's Ukraine, I believe, getting in for a rapid start. The Central Sports Club of the Army of Ukraine, Ihor Mazepa, Andriy Kashanov, Yuri Ivanov, Artem Vereshchuk, and Darina Kalashnikova. Let's see if they get off to a quick start. I think, though, that is the Kiwis. Is that the Kiwis pushing out? No, it's tough to spot in this early stage. Let's see how they get themselves up towards this first turning point. Oh, it's rapid on this side of the course. That could well be the Spanish. We so often see them off to quick starts.
I think it's really hard to see.
It's tricky, isn't it? France 0-1 at the bottom of the picture and counting our way up. I think that's Real Club Mediterranean de Malaga.
I think they crashed.
A little bit of clashing at the back of the field, but we'll soon see who that boat is pushing out to the early stars. Is that the Kiwis at the back of the pack? That is a bit of a surprise, isn't it? Because they are quite a formidable force. Yeah, Toby Garbett in the bow seat there, joining the Kiwis. Garbett being an international British athlete, now joining Olympic champion Michael Brake, Joe Sullivan, Matt Dunham, and Ramon Sanchez. They're at the back of the field, so work to do. I mean, how do you move up through that entire field when so much of your strategy relies on being first to the first turning point?
It's difficult. I mean, they're packed. You saw all the boats in front of them, and well, you have to play the tactics. Are you holding back, going to the outside? Are you trying to force your way through? You just have to read the field, because now they're all the way down.
Yeah, that's a lot of distance they've got to make up, isn't it? Germany 2 out in front. Stuttgarter Rudgesellschaft, a rapid start for them. Italy 2 just to their stern. The Mercarolo combination of Pietro Sitia, Perino Enrico, Guglielmo Melegari and Giovanni Melegari.
But look at the French. Did you see that? They were all stacked together. And that's why...
all converging in. So it's tough to be in the middle, because that's tricky, isn't it? When you do well in the heats, you end up in the middle.
Yeah, and all the crews are fast.
So it's almost an advantage to not be the fastest from the heat, but still get through, so you can position yourself on the outer lanes, right?
Yeah, you can. It's tactical. You have to think, and you have to be very brave, because you have to be able to hold back and then maybe get on an outside lane.
That's tricky, isn't it? I mean, the race strategy to move all the way through the tournament in the best possible light is tricky.
These are the Kiwis, and you see that they're...
right, nestled in the middle of all of that.
Yeah, and you see the pack, you see all of them go straight into one line. They all want that one boy. Oh, this is so exciting. It's
amazing, isn't it? We're coming up to 750 meters in. Italy 2 trying to move through the Mercarolo combination, moving up past Stuttgart Rudgesellschaft. Here's the USA boat, coxed by Whitney Powell, who joined me here in the commentary box earlier. Finish line shell repair, where we've got John Huppy, Michael McKay, Phil Hoyle, Alexander Del Sordo, and Whitney Powell in the coxswain seat. We'll see how they get on towards this first turning point. We'll have a few split times as they go around the bend. Italy 2 on the right-hand side in the white boat, alongside Stuttgart Rudgesellschaft in the blue boat. Pretty much neck and neck at the front.
Yeah, but you see, they have a little space, so they have room to just... They are not looking for each other. And that's why they're now trying to push to be the first one. But I think the below boat, the boat here, Italy, I think it is.
Yeah.
They are now pushing. They're now putting their boat up front a little.
Yeah, they're trying to get to that. So they can't be far off. It's going to be another 100 meters or so at most before the turning point.
And they have the inside buoy, the inside lane. So they...
big advantage for them. So that should turn into about a length when they come around the corner. So they should move out in front of the German boat, Stuttgarter Rudgesellschaft, as they come around the bend, as long as they can keep clean and as long as Germany don't pinch in on them and try to take a tight line as well.
Yeah, definitely. And the second buoy is also on the right side. So they have a 2-time inside corner.
That's a really good point, because it's 80 meters away. We've got the next buoy. And then we've got the second blue boat here, just in the bottom right of that picture. That's the Rowing Club Genovese crew, where Giacomo Costa, Eduardo Rocchi, and Eduardo Marchetti, they were silver medalists last year, now joined by Lorenzo Gaioni and Alessandro Caldera.
But you see this Italy boat, the third boat, is trying to peak, and they are going on the inside. They are forcing them outside, the Germans.
Yeah, it's an interesting line they're taking there. Quite risky, isn't it? Because they could find themselves caught up right in the middle of all of that.
Yeah, if the first two boats crash, then now he has to steer outside, you see?
Yeah, that's right.
You have to be brave. He should have gotten the line
Who's this? A Spanish boat coming through the middle there. Club Remo Torrevieja. That opened the door for them to pinch through on the inside. All tactics here.
Yeah.
So how did you find that, learning how to position your boat when it comes to all of this turning you've got to do? Because, I mean, you've had 1 week to get yourself up to speed.
Well, the good thing is in Holland we have also a race to Heineken, and it's a 5K, and it's also with a lot of turns, and it's behind each other.
Okay, so the tactics is transferable onto this coastal scene.
So I think it's in every country has them, that you have to overtake someone on a river.
Yeah.
And it's an inside turn, outside turn, but you have to think forward. What's going to be the next turn? Is that more necessary to have the inside? Then it's smart to take the outside corner maybe before.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So many different tactics. And then now that they've pivoted around, the wave direction's going to be different. What did that feel like for you as a coxswain, and how did you sort of approach this 1,500-meter section?
Well, we heard from the races before us that the 1.5K towards the third buoy, surf. Go surf. If you have a wave, catch it. Just up the rate and don't let go of the wave. Don't let go, because it's free speed.
Yeah, free speed, absolutely. Tricky to get right, but you have the right people in your boat, didn't you? With like Janneke and Karine.
Yeah.
And you had them in stroke and bow as well, didn't you? So you split the double.
Yeah.
And what was the reason for that? Why did you split the double and put them on either end?
We were a little bit in doubt, because we also have never rowed together, clearly. But we were like, either we do Karine on stroke and Janneke on the 3-seat.
Just having a quick look at this, it looks like one of the boats got completely turned around. Not what you want to see. Tough to work out who they are. They've lost their Toblerone in the process, so quite a clear bit of clashing. What we often see is one of the bows push the stern round, and that just spins you, so they've got work to do to catch up.
Yeah.
But yeah, Duki, you were telling us about putting Janneke and Karine.
Yeah, no, it's because of the waves. You in a 4, it's also totally different from a small boat, because a small boat, you can drift a little bit more on the waves, but a 4 is so big, it just goes in the air. And you saw those Monaco photos, they just lift the boat and you're just in the air. There's no water.
Stuck on top of it.
Yeah, it's just air below. And then you smash the water. So you have to be very supple, like elastic.
Yeah.
Try to catch the water. So we thought more experienced Janneke would be good.
In the bow.
In the bow
So that's
seat.
why she was there, to be able to handle those tricky things and still catch the water somehow. Interesting. So you had her in the bow and Karine therefore setting the rhythm.
Yeah.
And what was the experience like for the two you had in the middle for their coastal experience? Were they relatively new to it as well?
Yeah, they were. My 3-seat Lynn, she was also in the Europeans, also in the quad. And I think they came in 4th. So she was a little bit experienced, but they both are flat water rowers.
Yeah.
For Tokyo, Djurtje was also in my 8, in the women's 8. But yeah, they were not too experienced. They did it once or twice or maybe 3 times, but not like this.
Not as much as this.
Yeah.
So that's really fascinating. It's amazing to see how you've used the skill and expertise of Janneke and Karine at either end of the boat. I love that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because we look at this now, and Italy seem to be starting to run away with this Italy 2 combination from Muccarolo.
But
impressive race for them.
Definitely. But Spain is on the inside, and it's a starboard turn. So once again, they are on the inside. So if they catch a wave and they cross over, they force Italy to the outside buoy, giving them meters.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting to see whether they can manage to do that. And that's the battle for the bronze medal, because Italy 2 are out in front. Germany 2 still in it. We'll see that wide angle in a moment. They're currently in the 2nd place, but look how tight this is as we look back to the sort of middle of the pack here.
It's spread, but you see everyone is just trying to get their space in the water, trying to catch some speed, catching that wave. Because if you catch the wave, it's also, you can steer, but you don't want to steer too much, because you just want to be on it. You just have to correct a little to stay on it.
And once you're on it, is that an opportunity for the athletes to get a little bit of a rest, or they're still plugging away pretty full on?
Yeah, sure. It's still heavy because they're upping the rate to try on it. And what they told me is they have to be like a little bit of a Pimenov, like stay in the front of the stroke.
Okay.
Because you don't want the boat to dip. If there's too much mass in the point in the front of the boat,
yep,
the point can get grab the water.
get stuck and spin you round.
Yeah, and then you lose it. So you have to be also a little bit more weight in front of the.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So such skill to really know how you're balanced on the. And the waves are always so different. Like every day they've been slightly different. These are much bigger rollers than we've had yesterday and the day before. So a very, very different feel to those that have been out yesterday and when you guys were out doing the heats. So you've had to respond. And when you went before the race, you go out and do a little bit of a warm-up. That's your opportunity to get a feel for the waves as they are today.
Yeah.
And what are you doing in the warm-up?
I think it's a little bit standard. I mean, you do a little bit of rating. So you do 1 or 2 minutes. Rating 28, and then you're doing a little bit of rating 30, 32, and then you up it a little just to spice, get the real edge, 48, 38 or 40, just to spice it a little and know what you're capable when you turn the buoy, you up it a little to get speed.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, well, it paid off for you, didn't it?
I know. I was very lucky.
I don't think it's luck. I think there's far more to it than luck. The skill that you guys had and the course that you navigated. I mean, look how spread out these crews are. They're all coxed boats, but they're all so far off the racing line. I guess this is where they're trying to stay out of trouble and just accepting that they're taking a slightly wider line.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to just look for it and trying to get space. And here you see the crash. And then you see that they push you out. They push you out. So this is
now
terrible.
Germany have a massive arc to take. And it's a clash here again. So difficult to separate the boats after they're locked together like that. You almost have to unzip them.
Yeah, that's why you want to have that inside turn. Because if they push you out on the back of the boat, you can't steer. There's nothing you can do.
And are you able to reach back and fend off, or is just a case of there's not really much you can do at all?
Ease up, try to push them away, stop rowing, and just try to get the boat straight. Because there is speed and there are waves, so calm down. And then what do we have to do?
Calm, I love that. It's just the calm and get your thoughts together. Very relaxed approach to it, but it pays off, right?
It paid. Like, look at them. They just lost like 2 lengths.
Yeah, that wasn't great for them. I mean, Italy won 3rd place around that turning point, 2K in. We'll see as we start to get some split times through to confirm the positions, but Stuttgarter Rüdigesellschaft.
This is going to be interesting because you see the 2 Italian boats, and they are close together, and there's going to be another buoy. So it's very interesting. What are they going to do? Are they trying to peek it on the inside? And also, which turn is going to be on the next buoy? Because this one is over the left, and the
left-hand turn at point 4.
And the other one is on the right again. And then you have 2 on the right.
Oh, look at this. You've got the course drawn out on your knee.
Yes, I have.
Amazing. And did you have any specific tactics as you moved through these turning points? As in, you'd probably know rough distances, but what did it mean for, were you doing pushes between some of these points or anything like that?
Yeah, like the light on the front, jumping, and each buoy. I mean, you lose speed. Once you steer or once you want to try turn, in which boat type it's going to cost you some speed. Yeah. So once you're straight, and you're not steering anymore, just keep it light and try to get that boat moving again.
Yeah.
And you have to be so precise together. And if you catch a wave at that moment, you fly.
That's so cool. I mean, I bet it feels amazing as well, because you'll feel that surf as well, the sort of surfing effect.
Definitely.
Because we see it on the graphics here when we see a boat get the speed on, 3 or 4 kilometers an hour faster when on the wave versus not.
Yeah, it's you see it in all the races. Like if you catch a wave, you make like 10 or 12 meters, like in such a short period, in such a short distance, and I think that makes it easier, and it gives you a little bit of adrenaline. Also, it's like you get like some free speed. Like all the rowers, they're exhausted, so a 6K is far. It's
a long way. So any little boost you can find for them. And were there any points that you attempted to pull out your rudder to just remove the resistance, or if you were to do that, would you just be skating all over the place without a fin?
Well, they told me that people do that, but I think it's not necessary. And in a Swift, there's also it's It's with you do an elastic over the rudder, and if it's
Okay.
not straight, the rudder is also the fin. So if it's not straight, you cannot pull it out.
Okay. So that's the key thing.
Yeah.
But when it came to the corners, you had all of the steering you needed. Any kind of delay on the cornering when you use the rudder compared to when you're on the flat water boat? For the coxswains listening in at home?
Yeah, I think because it's so much bigger. Like, and a 2K, you try to get it as small as possible.
Yeah.
So only if there's wind, you will need a bigger one. But if there's no wind, I always try to make it as small as possible, because if an 8 goes, an 8 goes straight.
Yeah. So you're right. So it's just a little bit of wind you've got to combat.
Yeah.
So how big's the rudder in your 8 when you're racing with the Dutch team?
I don't know. I think
Credit
about
card
this big.
size?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too big. If there's no wind, I would maybe prefer it a little smaller even.
Okay.
Yeah, because in the case of emergency, you also have your rowers.
Of course, so you can tell them to make some adjustments.
Yeah.
Did you ever have to do that here? What were the calls that you were making to make some of the sharper corners? Was there ever a case that you get them to hold it up on one side, or?
Well, I was lucky to have a very experienced bow, so
Of course, yeah.
they will press a little bit on the outside oar, and
Yeah.
on the inside they will smear it a little, just let it go. And
Okay.
what you see in the smaller boats, like Karin and Janneke, they just turn it in and they just keep rowing on the outside
Yeah.
oars.
Just to push it around.
Yeah, to push it round. So, but yeah, you see it here again. You see him steering on the inside and go a little bit back.
Yeah.
This is going to be interesting.
Oh, this is going to be clash territory. Tough
see
looking at
it?
these 2 Italian boats. I mean,
Yeah.
it could be an Italian lockup at the top of the podium, but
There
if they
they
lock
are.
themselves together on the course, not ideal.
Look at
Italy
that.
2. And that's opened the door behind them.
Yep.
Crikey, and it looks like they're heading off in entirely the wrong direction. So
Yeah.
a lot of correction to do now. That's allowed Germany's Stuttgarter Gesellschaft to move through to pretty much take the lead here, although they're going to be on the outside of the next corner, because that's moving from turning points 5 to 6, so they're pinching back into the center of the course for turning point 7.
So they will have to push back because they have to get on the same buoy, and they will be there at the same time, more or less. So it's going to be interesting because you see how small the spaces are, and everyone wants that buoy.
Everybody wants the tightest angle round.
And you know, it's so hard. That's, I think, the hardest in now coastal rowing and the boys is you have to think, is it smart to crash another boat?
The boat manufacturers would probably say no.
No, but give
But-
them a little shove. Or is it for both of them and third place is gonna say bye-bye and just cross over?
Yeah, risky. Risky. You could fall right out of the medals.
I know.
So Rowing Club Genovese, they've opened the door, as have Italy 2, where we've got the Mercarolo combination. These 3 boats with Stuttgarter Gesellschaft now coming up onto turning point 7 in the tightest corner of all of them. They'll have to pinch back out towards turning points 8 and 9, where they've got the chicane.
Look at them.
Look at that. That's Stuttgarter Gesellschaft, I think, now out in front
Yeah, but on the outside turn,
on the outside of the turn. So what would you be doing in this situation? If you'd managed to pull out into the front, would you be starting to push back over? I mean, that risks you clashing with the Genovese boat.
well, I think in being in this position, I would probably not try to hit them because it will give an opportunity, because you will drift off for another boat to peek through.
Yeah, so it looks like that's what they've done. They've taken it slightly wider. They're
Yeah.
going to be on the inside of the first turning of the chicane now, aren't they, theoretically?
but here they are.
have
They-
clashed anyway. Oh, they've clashed with the trailing Italian boat.
Look, and there they go again, up in front. But the Germans are going to have the inside turn on the next one.
Yeah, they are.
So looking forward, they will now have the inside, and then afterwards they will have 2 times outside if they stay in this position. And I think, looking back at the women's double, that's what Janneke and Karin did very well.
Right.
They had the last turns just precise on the inside, and that gives them gave them a little bit of an advantage.
They carried their speed so much better than the Austrians through those corners as well. It was fantastic to watch. I mean, it was a masterclass in cornering, especially those last couple of corners when it mattered most, when Magdalena and Katarina Lobnig were trying to close in on them.
Yeah.
It looked as though the Lobnigs had the slightly better boat speed when it came to the straights, but Janneke and Karin's cornering was just so quick. And that's where it's all going to come down to a winner or a loss here, because Italy, Germany, Italy 2, this rowing club Genovese, Stuttgarter Rüdigesellschaft, and the other Italian boat, Mercarolo, absolutely locked in it for the medals.
But how cool would it be if it comes down to a sprint, that 4 boats will finish in the same time? That would be amazing.
Would be so cool, wouldn't it? And the New Zealanders, we just saw at the top of the picture there, they're coming up into sort of 6th, 7th place now as they move up through the field.
Yeah, and they're almost there. Like they have 5K already done, so almost there. Like those last boys, that's only 300-400 meters.
Yeah, not much
separation. So short. So if you are a better rower and have more speed in the rowing, people with experienced turns, they have so much advantage.
So much advantage.
So much.
And we'll see whether the rowing club Genovese, now leading, what they're going to do around this corner. Turning point 8, holding out ahead of Stuttgarter Rüdigesellschaft.
Yeah, because now the Germans are in the next ones, they should have the inside, but he's now correcting a little bit too much.
It's going around to the outside.
Yeah. I don't know if I would have done that. But if they are really faster, then it doesn't really matter. But if you have the advantage of taking the inside turn and push them out,
then there's some ground to be gained.
Yeah, and it gives also the crew a little thrill. Like, yes.
Yeah, of course.
We've got this one.
Well, here we go.
There we go.
2 corners left now.
Look at that. And he cannot steer now. You see, he had to wait to go after the Italians.
Oh, that's tough, isn't it? So that means that they're up to speed. So they've got clear water now, a bit more clear water than they had. And just 2 350-meter segments to come in.
And it's so rough. And especially when you get blown away by the waves, and you have to correct a little and correct a little. Each time you correct, you always feel like this massive pushback because it's so big, the rudder. Like,
right. So the resistance is huge.
Huge. So
they must be looking at you thinking, stop using the rudder, but...
I know Karin in the first few days, because normally in a double or in a skiff, they don't have the rudder.
Right, so they rarely feel that. They rarely feel that resistance come in.
Yeah, so even in a straight piece, and I was just correcting like tiny bits, she was like, we feel it. And I was like, okay, I have to steer a little, but I'll try a little bit less.
So that's your steep learning curve then, of course, through the week, is how to keep straight without barely using the rudder at all.
Yeah, like...
And we can see, just watching this race, how much steering needs to be done.
Yeah,
because the positioning's so crucial.
It's crucial. And you see, if you, like the shots, like from far, you see the crews up and down, crisscross over the field. It's not a straight line from the buoy because of the waves.
That's tricky. Now it's a straight line run in, though. This is turning point 10, Rowing Club Genovese. Genoa is where we're going next year for the Coastal Championships. They've got the lead on Stuttgarter Rüdigesellschaft. Giacomo Costa in the bow seat. We may see him do the run, or it might be Alessandro Calder in the coxswain seat. I think. What do you think? It's the coxswain?
I hope so. Like when I went to the meeting for the information, I asked, can there be two runners? Like, and then the one that's fastest runs and the other one stops. And they were like, no, one runner. And then we were like, okay, then I'll run. And she also said, like, the coxswain is not tired. So if you have a coxswain that can run, she will probably be fast, because the rower, he has to stop rowing.
Stop rowing and jelly legs having been punching it out for 6K.
You have to turn, get up.
You were quick going up the beach as well. I mean, you had a pretty decent advantage, but you know, I saw you still gave it everything running up the sand there.
Well, yeah, it's the least I can do. I mean, they dragged me around for 6K, so that's the least I can do. Just run a little bit for them.
Well, here we come down to the exit. Rowing Club Genovese, Stuttgarter Rüdigesellschaft hot on their heels. It's going to be down to this beach exit. Beach sprint training pays off in Swades now. It's going to come up to this sprint up the sand. Rowing Club Genovese, Giacomo Costa out alongside the German. It's going to come up to this sprint. I think Germany are just off the pace somewhat. The coxswain trying to get up the sand, but the jelly legs for the German. That means that Rowing Club Genovese take the win. And here we have, for Germany, Oscar Kroglovsky from the bow seat. And then Mocarolo, Pietrasitia locking in the bronze medal. They're pleased with that. 2 Italian boats on the podium in this A final for the men's coxed quads. A stellar performance from all of them. Coming in for 4th place, then we expect to see Ukraine, Central Sports Club of the Army of Ukraine, coming onto the beach. We'll see the official results come through shortly. Spain 0-1, Club Rema Torrevieja shortly astern of them. The Monegascans up next, Société Nautique de Monaco. And then the United States of America. Well, we've got the highlights coming up now from that A final of the men's coxed quads. What a stellar performance. I mean, it was tough stuff getting off the beach. We saw the Kiwis get in a real locked battle in the first few strokes, and that saw them having a really tough start and trying to move up through the field. Heartbreak in the start for them, but Rowing Club Genovese, Stuttgart Gesellschaft were the early leaders, and then the 2 Italian crews, Mercarolo and Rowing Club Genovese, moving up alongside them, going around the first turning point. A long slog up to turning point 3, and that saw these 3 leading boats manage to solidify their lead all the way through the first 2K of the race. A little bit of a tussle with the lead changing place through the second 2K as they chopped and changed around the turning points, but it was the superior speed and steering of the Rowing Club Genovese boat as Stuttgart Gesellschaft locked it up with Mercarolo around turning points 6 and 7. That opened the door for Rowing Club Genovese to come in here with Giacomo Costa taking the win for Rowing Club Genovese, silver to Stuttgart Gesellschaft, and bronze to the Mercarolo crew of Italy.
Italy represented by
Italia, rappresentata da Giacomo Costa.